Hello, here's a realistic example about preset creation.
Let's create a golf game. I downloaded some reference images.
Here's Barnsley Resort, Forest City National Golf Club. Golf in Zillertal. I like this one with the mountains in the background. It all boils down to have different shades of green. Here's a bright green, a dark green, some vegetation and sand pits. Let's make this a stylized example. For this, I installed BK's Meadows and Mountains of Pure Nature 2. The demo scenes look like this. This is Meadows. This is mountains, and we see there are different shades of grasses we can use. The purpose of this tutorial is to show you how you can use your own assets, whatever you prefer, even realistic ones. Let's create a new scene. What we need is the MicroVerse content browser. I'll dock it here. Let me double-click the gold ball. Go on here. No idea. It seems like a Unity bug. I'll create a new scene again. Here it is. I delete this one. Create a new MicroVerse terrain. Let me remove the fog so we have better visibility. Let's pick a height stamp. Let's use the meadow one. Reduce the height. It's mostly flat. What we need now first is a terrain layer so that we have this textured. Let's open Genesis Pro. Quick launch. I'll dock it here. Open Stamp Creator and the Asset Gallery we have. For Meadows, a lighter variation, and for Mountains, a darker variation of the layers. You know what? Let's create our own collection for this golf game. For this, we need a folder here. Create a new collection. Let's start in Assets, Golf Game. As you can see, we need a texture, vegetation, objects maybe. Biomes, global, path, author is a Roland and team. Pack name is golf game. ID can be the same. It just needs to be a unique download path. We don't have one, but let's just pick something. This is usually the asset store page of the publisher. Create the collection. Now the files got created for the content browser. For instance here, golf game is empty, vegetation is empty, texture is empty. We can close this. So let's first create the terrain layers. We need a light grass, a dark grass, sand and gravel. Make this quickly. Single texture. Light grass. Drag it in here. Sand is the same. It's a bit bright, I think. Let me look here. Direction light. Yeah, it's very bright here. Let's reduce the intensity. Like so. You can drag it in here. We do the same for the mountains. Name this dark grass. And also for gravel. You can of course drag this in, have this global applied with the Control, Shift shortcut and create a thumbnail, a quicker way. If you have multiple of these, is to use the browser tools. Like so, you have a batch. Change to thumbnail creation with this tab selected. Go down here, for instance, move this here, and start batch. Confirm override is selected. Yes, we want. Let me move this up here via Control X. And here, Control V, standard cut and paste operations. Let's delete these, and let's add some grass. It's the meadow grass terrain layer. You can close this, select Detail, Terrain Layers. Now select Prefabs. Plants. Here we have some grass meshes. Select Dense Grass. Open the variator. Increase the density. Let's assume this is mown and has all the same height. Set 0.8, 0.8. Increase the density a bit more. Select the Vegetation tab, insert here, and have that preset created. We do the same for the dark grass. It's in mountains, it's in plants. Here we have this one, this one, this one. Select dense grass. This is not mown. Let's keep it as it is. Select the Vegetation tab, drag this in. Let's create the thumbnails now. Let me delete these again. Texture, light grass, light grass. Create thumbnail. That's it. We also would like to have some trees. Let me choose this. Here we go. Cypress. Just a moment. Trees. Dense forest. I increased the density here. Just no noise visible. The cypress is being used as spline paths line. Name this cypress. Drag this into vegetation, delete it, add the light grass texture of Meadows. And when you click this and select the spline path painting, you get a straight line. Delete this again. Oh, let me undo this. While I'm at it, I can also create the screenshot. Let me delete this again. Now let's make some. Background trees. We can use, for instance, these here. Let's add the dark grass. Add dense forest. Yeah, I like this. Come here. Forest. Select vegetation. And add it here, like so. Create thumbnail. And while we're at it, we can also create a biome from this. We don't need this anymore. We don't need this anymore. Restructure. Name this conifers. And drag it in. Back. And create thumbnail. We can delete these. Now what we need is a dark grass and a light grass. Put this like this in the light grass. Select both, reparent, and convert. Light grass. Typo on this and fix this. Biomes. Drag it back in here. And create a thumbnail. Let's delete this. Same for the dark ones. What we also need is a terrain layer for the sand with the grass removed. It is a simple biome, nothing else. Let's drag in the sand. Let me remove this to avoid the confusion. Name it sand. See, the important part is that the clear stamp was added. Drag this in here. Here we go. We can delete this. Now we have full biomes. Let me zoom out here. For the shape, I drag in the conifers. The whole terrain is now with conifers. I will paint a Goffle area, which is darker.
And a lighter one.
Like so. Let me zoom in. With SceneNav, press Shift 2. Zoom in here. We need to increase the resolution here of the SDF, or just create a fall off, light grass, fall off to have this smoother. Very nice. Now let's paint a sand pit. I select the sand pit, click the spline area, and paint one in. This looks quite nice. Let's add the height stamp. Move this up here. I reset the transform because we used the one of the parent, and just drag this down. Something is not right here. I can't go lower. Maybe we are at the lowest end of the height stamp. Yes, we are. So let's increase the Meadows height. Yeah, that's not it. Let's change this to 30. Select the height stamp. Let me remove this again. Something is off here. We need to change the sand pit.
Fall off.
Something is not working right. I set it to override because it was set to max. Now we're good to go. Make the fall off a bit more, and let's reuse this. The name is already sandpit. We can drag it in, overwrite it. With the height stamp, click yes, and now we have a sandpit. We can paint another just as easy. Select spline area. Here we go, and another. Which is quite nice. Let's continue in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.